Hi everybody, this is day 11 of our 15 minutes of flexibility for a 21-day focus. Today you need a bench or a chair, couch, bed, whatever. Okay, I'm going to do a nice long sequence. Me using the bench here. And the mat is, as always, an optional. Okay, if you're on a hard floor, definitely advise to get something, okay, just for resting your knees on. But if you're able to do it out, it's no big deal. Okay, if you need to pause the video, go and organize yourselves. I'm going to be starting here facing the bench. Come back then, press play, and follow me for the 15 minutes. Okay. So I'm just going to get my clock going to keep me on track, and we're going to start off. You want to get yourself ready. Down facing bench. I'm going to pop my foot up and start with pretty standard old-fashioned hamstring stretch. I have a little bend in the knee, okay, and I'm trying to get my chest down towards my thigh here, okay. Rest on it a nice bit, as much as I want. I'm just leaning into it, feeling a nice stretch here in the hamstrings, and take those couple of breaths as I ease into it, okay. Not too worried about the back leg. Once you're comfortable, it's just important that you have a bit of bend on the knee, not a straight leg. You might think you're getting a better stretch with a straight leg, but with a slight bend of the knee, you're actually getting a truer stretch deep into that hamstring, okay? I can feel that I can get a little bit lower now as the minute goes on. Trying to somewhat keep my lower back fairly straight, okay? Not just conscious that I'm not really buckling, okay, or completely rounding over. I'm leaning into it. Trying to get chest down towards the thigh, but making a conscious effort to keep that lower back fairly straight. Alright, coming out of that nice and easy, soft sides, just straight up. Again, a little bend in the knee, lean over it, hand either side of the leg for a bit of balance. Pointing my toe away for this, okay, you can see my foot's kind of relaxed, toes is pointing away. So I'm kind of sitting back and down. Okay, I am letting those hips go back just that little bit. Again, as I get into it, after 30 or 40 seconds, I find I can sink that a little bit lower. Again, that little bend in the knee, pointing the toe away, not allowing the leg to straighten out too much. Alright, so I'm just going to come up and hit my ankle then, okay, leaning into this as much as I can. If you've got a kettlebell, okay, or something, you can pop it on the knee just to advance this a little bit, but I'm not going to use it today. A nice comfortable position, and I'm going to move that knee slightly left to right, and down here, lower calf, okay, down around the Achilles and ankle, getting hit nicely here. So those couple of breaths, helping you relax, ease into it a little bit further. And we're just going to swap sides then straight away, okay? Coming out of it nice and easy. And just swapping sides, foot is up on the chair. Leaning into it, back foot's on its toe. And putting that bit of weight on the knee now again. Like I said, if you had a dumbbell or something, you can pop it on, it's fine. I'm just not going to use it today. Try and keep the heels somewhat down, okay, on the chair. If it lifts a small bit, no big deal. But I will make that conscious effort just to keep it down somewhat. Again, a little bit of movement side to side of the knee will help you just search for tightness around the calf in different areas. And we're going to come out of that. going to jump down onto the floor, side facing. And we're going to hit our inner thigh now, okay? Pop that foot up. I'm going to remove my heel, okay? My foot while I'm down here, pointing it forwards, pointing it upwards. That's going to help me move the stretch around those adductors. But I'm going to support myself fully down here, okay, on the mat. So when I'm down here, I'm just going to do that little bit of movement. You can see my foot. Sit my hips back a little bit. As the toe points up to the ceiling, as the toe points up, I'll sit back a small bit. And then I'll shift back forward again as I point it forward. So inner thigh, okay, adductors, getting nicely hit again with this one. If it's a bit uncomfortable, if it's a little bit too advanced, just put your foot on the ground, okay. The bench helps me get into a better position, okay, to find the tightness quicker with the elevation. But if it's a bit uncomfortable, pop your foot back on the floor, okay. You can do this down on the floor in pretty much the same position. Again, I move my hips forward and back throughout. I'm pointing my foot forward, pointing it up to the ceiling. And coming out nice and easy, I'm going to swap sides. I'm just going to pop the bench around the other side so I don't have to turn away from you, okay? And we're going to get straight up. So again, just pop that heel up, get your hands down to support yourself, and straight away I'll start that little bit of forward and backward movement and pointing that toe up and pointing it forward. You can see I'm not getting back near my heel, okay, but my hips are sitting back in that direction. But because of the elevation, I'm not going to get anywhere near the heel. This knee doesn't have to be too far away, okay? If I was on the floor, if this foot was on the floor, I'd probably be trying to slide this one away to feel a better stretch. But the elevation basically allows me to get a better stretch without having to do that, okay? All my weight in my hands here, taking as much weight off this knee as possible, just keeping all the weight in the hands. Again, that breath or two. Alright, we're going to get into pigeon stretch either side. So going a little bit closer to your bench, your chair, whatever it is. Going to get the outside of our shin up on the bench as best possible. I'm trying to keep it fairly perpendicular or parallel with the bench. Okay, trying not to tuck your heel in too much. So pop it up there on your couch, your bed, whatever it is you're using. And you're going to try and let your back knee then sink just a little bit towards the floor. Okay. I can keep my chest up here now, keep my back nice and straight. I'm not going to fold over it, okay? Just keep my chest up. I am trying to lean slightly forward into it, but I'm really aware of that lower back. Always trying to keep decent posture. Not going to let myself fold completely over, okay? Feel a nice stretch here now, the back of this hip and glute. Don't feel I really need to get a whole lot lower into it. Getting a nice bit on it. Alright, coming out nice and easy. Just going to swap sides straight away. Okay, trying to get your shin on and parallel, with the edge of the bench or chair, whatever it is you're using. I like to put my hand on my knee this side. but if you're a bit uncomfortable, you're probably better off supporting yourself on the bench itself, okay? Alright, coming out of that then nice and easy. And staying here. Alright, staying at our bench and chair. We're going to flip around and do our normal couch stretch. Okay, so turn around, going to spend a minute or so down in the low position and then bring it up a little bit higher for a minute to finish off either side. So pop one foot up. Bring the other foot forward, and now we're just going to stay down in this low position before we shift back. So this inner thigh, okay, hamstring and adductor getting hit nicely while we're down in this position. Again, not folding over, okay, aware of my lower back at all times. I'm letting my hips sink down as low as I can, but I'm keeping that chest and chin up. Let myself just get that a little bit lower before I come back up out of this now. Okay, so shifting back, supporting yourself, okay, on this knee, and now just settling into it, okay, front of this, head flexor and quad, getting hit nicely. Again, the closer I am to this heel, okay, the better it's going to be. So I'm all the while trying to sit back towards this heel. And just before I finish off, I'm going to reach up and across, looking at that hand, holding it, just leaning ever so slightly across my body. Couple of breaths, keep it nice and settled. Coming out with the top sides, just stop it straight over, staying down nice and low to start off. Playing around with the position of this front foot, okay. The closer to the bench, obviously the harder it is to get kind of low, but the further away it goes, more mobility required, so play around, find a sweet spot with it. Shift back then. Again, play around with your knee, okay, on the mat if you have to. Again, I'm always trying to get that glute to heel, okay, for the more advanced stretch, but play around with it. Once you come up here, you'll be feeling nice within that hip flexor, within that quad. So that really exaggerated exhale, okay, helping me ease into it. I'm going to reach up and across as high as I can. Looking at the hand, just lean across the body that little bit. Coming out of that then nice and easy. We're going to finish off back facing the bench again, just for a little bit around the shoulders and upper back, okay? So we're going to start off with hands down. Hands down, just around shoulder width apart. You're going to sit back onto your heels. You're going to let your head, chest and shoulders, sorry, your chest and head down through your arms. Those couple of deep breaths, allowing yourself to sink lower to the floor as you ease into it. Coming up out of it nice and easy. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to cross our arms, essentially fold our arms across each other. This is going to just hit the chest a little bit more rather than the lats. But we're going to do the same thing. Arms just folded on the edge of your bench. Sit your hips back. Let your head drop. And shimmy around a little bit side to side with your hips or with your elbows. I'm feeling this nicely now. A bit more around the front of that shoulder and chest. Couple of nice breaths, let them out slow. Try and get that a little bit lower down. Coming back out of it nice and easy again. You'll be a bit lightheaded. Coming up out of that too quick, okay, spend a bit of time down there with your head down. Not quite sure if that's bang on 15 minutes. My clock stopped and restarted. I'm sure we're thereabouts though. If there's any of those in particular you enjoyed, you want to go back, do a bit more of, fire ahead and do that. Otherwise, that's us for today. Thanks a million. I'll see you tomorrow.